We we live?
It's Sage the Mock.
And
Oh,
what
welcome
up, guys?
everybody. I
What
mean,
up?
if anybody's watching, right? Oh,
Yo,
what's going on, fellas?
Yeah, no,
Who-
no, not much, not much, not much. Yo, it's me, Ben Goosen. Hopefully, you watched the mock draft. We got 31 views. I contributed to 27 of those, so
yeah.
hopefully you're one of the four or five others. And I want to introduce today a good friend of mine. We
the
grew up together.
illustrious.
We have good friends together. That's my Stephen A. Smith. He's a good friend of mine.
That's Stephen A's type.
He's a good friend of mine. This is my friend Dabi Amore.
Yo. How you
Oh,
doing? How you doing? How you doing? Good to be on the podcast, boys. Thanks for the invite. I love the show. Love it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, first thing I mean, we're starting off hot today. It's July 6th. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the July 4th episode of Raw. To me, it was
I
throwaway Raw. It was throwaway Raw. So, real quick, was it a throwaway Raw? All the marks out there are saying no. I say yes. Was it a throwaway Raw?
it was definitely a throwaway Raw. But I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. It's probably to me one of the best July 4th episodes that in a long time, man. I think last year where they had the Dean Ambrose spraying spaghetti or something on
No, you had the
Rollins.
ketchup bottles. You had the
Ketchup
ketchup
bottles.
mustard.
There we go.
Yes,
The
yes,
ketchup.
yes.
Yeah. What What do you think,
What about
Doc?
you, Debbie?
don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was kind of one of those things you saw early on where they're kind of like phoning it in a little bit. But I was saying a little bit off air that like it wasn't really one of those Raws where it had a lot of high expectations, like an actual pay-per-view kind of Raw. So I wasn't expecting much. So I mean, I thought it was all right. It wasn't a bad Raw. Didn't really care for that match. At the end, like the Americans versus non-Americans. I was like, that was kind of like let's put something together real quick. That kind of lost me, but I mean, otherwise. It wasn't a great Raw, but it wasn't expected to be either, so it was okay.
Yeah, The I loved it, man. The opening segment was flipping hilarious, man. I come on, man. Was it Cesaro and Black Neville? Oh,
Yeah.
can I say that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Oh,
said
hey,
Black
hey,
Neville.
hey,
No,
hey,
no,
hey.
Black Neville last week. I said Black Neville last week. I
Yeah,
can
that's
say
right.
it. We can say it because we're black. So,
uh, Black Neville doing the armrest. I thought that was flipping hilarious.
yeah, Dobby, you know who
Miz.
Black Neville is, right?
Uh, Apollo Crews?
Apollo Creed, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, yeah. We just call him Black Neville because he basically just same moves. He's just black.
Yeah, no doubt, dude, no doubt. But Neville's better, dude. He's got those badass those ears, dude.
Yeah, yeah. He really does have
That
those.
that's that's what makes him fly, bro.
I was I was all over Kevin Owens and Fandango stole the show because I don't know if you noticed when the food fight started, Fandango grabbed chocolate syrup and poured it on his chest and was like, just like pouring it down his chest and gyrating.
That's
And
exactly what you would have done in the middle of a food fight.
I would have ate it.
Yeah. But Kevin Owens sliding under that table, dude, like a stud, dude.
With the
Like a real
chips.
Canadian, dude.
Yeah, he had those chips.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
man.
and the matches were pretty decent. Like Ambrose had a good match.
Against the Miz.
Rollins versus Ziggler was good too.
I mean,
That
I
was
could
awesome.
always use a little bit more Enzo Amore, but that's just me.
Unfortunately, it was cut from Hulu. Thanks WWE for that, because I mean,
Mm-mm.
you
No.
guys are on point with that editing.
Yeah, no. Can't be having that.
Yeah.
How does Enzo Amore, the Jordans? He's a Jordan guy. He wears Jordans, and
Him
I'm
and
the same
Shane
guy.
O'Mac about them Jordans.
Yeah. So the Jordans Enzo Amore were, they came out on Saturday, and you could only get them online. So I don't know how he got. He got those shoes, ordered them Saturday online, and had them by Monday on Raw. And you can't express or speed order them because I just ordered two pair 2 weeks ago, and they
Well,
took
when
them.
the thing about something like that is you can't teach
Mhm.
that. Okay,
That's right.
bro.
That's a lesson right there.
He gonna do what he do, man. That's Zoe, man.
Yeah,
Zoe.
yeah, yeah. And I'm not on
Say,
TV.
man.
I'm not on TV. If I was on TV, it'd be different.
Yeah. We'll get there, bro. We'll get there.
Yeah.
What about that promo with the club and John Cena?
I'm just not sold on
Come
this club,
on, man.
I'm just not sold
I
on this
love
club,
it, man.
dude. Like, I haven't seen enough out of this club, like mic-wise and wrestling-wise. Obviously, I mean, Styles.
Come on,
wrestling,
dog.
but the other two clowns, dude, wrestling, dude. Like, I'm not seeing enough out of them, dude. Like, I'm just not.
We didn't need to see them wrestle this week. What we needed to see is the hashtag beat up John Cena, because that's where it is. We go to the club, we do our drink, we doing the new Running Man, and then we hashtag beat up John Cena.
Yeah, no,
You know
I
what?
feel that.
On Saturday, when we go watch UFC 200, we should take a pic and put it on Facebook or Twitter. We'll put it on the podcast Twitter feed. Have fun, drink it up, and well, then what do we do? Beat up John Cena.
Yes, please, can we? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna ask for peanuts. I'm gonna my drink. I might even shoot a little pool, and afterwards, I'm gonna beat up John Cena.
I don't think they got no pool tables.
Yeah. This place is a dive. This place is a dive, man. I try not to touch anything at all in the place, and it's funny because the place we're going to, and Dabi, help me out. I'm pretty sure the bathroom has a window into it, so you can see in to that window on the side. So if you get a good peek, you could look into the bathroom.
That is correct. And and I'm pretty sure the stalls don't have doors either. So just be careful dropping those twosies. All right. That's a tip for Europe.
That's why I squat.
That's a free one.
Yeah.
I squat, I wipe, and then I'm gonna beat up John Cena.
Oh, shit. I tell you what, if he's in that restroom, I'm gonna beat him up in that restroom, dude. Because I'm beating up John Cena that night. I tell you what.
That's it, baby. Hashtag, baby.
So I don't know if you guys saw, but during a commercial break, they cut to a Brock Lesnar field, and we're going to get into UFC 200 predictions because obviously it's pretty badass coming up this weekend. So they cut to the new WWE 2K17 trailer that featured Brock Lesnar looking, all jacked, all beefcaked out and everything like that. When, what was it, a month ago? They had Goldberg in the trailer. And now apparently, and Sage the Mark, chime in, they apparently have like a new trailer out. So fill me, I haven't seen the new trailer. Fill me in on.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch it, man. 'Cause I watched it a little bit while I was working, but it was kind of like a mixture. It was mainly, the main Brock Lesnar promo, showing some bits and pieces of Goldberg coming out. And the one thing that I remember out of that whole thing, I was like, yo, Goldberg's my dude, but this ninja's getting old. I mean, he's showing some sweet age, man. And, I know the first thing everybody's going to be thinking is, oh, this means that we're going to get a WrestleMania match with Goldberg, but I don't think. I mean, I know the boys about the money, and I love for that, but yeah, man, it's not the Goldberg I remember.
The thing about it is, like, it doesn't really, like, it doesn't get me rock hard when I'm seeing these promos with, like, hey, you can be Goldberg, this one has Brock Lesnar, because we all know when you go to the creative character, the WWE universe, they have a million different characters from, Mortal Kombat to any wrestler from the past ever. So when you're saying Goldberg's in this one, well, he's in all of them because somebody always creates one. You can just download, So
Yeah.
what gets me hyped is new content, like what I was missing on 2K17, which fabulous game, loved it. But I love the Royal Rumble aspect of it. It was great, but you couldn't do the real Royal Rumble online. It was only 6 man. That was it. I would like them to step that game up and do that Royal Rumble online where you can have 25, 30 man Royal Rumble online and just sit out, wait for your number to be called, kind of a thing. But yeah, new wrestlers doesn't really get me going because, like I said, everybody always creates Goldberg every year anyway, so I could just download them.
Yeah, but at least you don't get banned for creating Goldberg. I'm just saying.
Man, I never got banned, dude.
No.
I was rocking Bane the whole time. That was Gotham's Reckoning, bro. I didn't get banned anyway. Using Shawn Michaels, created Shawn Michaels.
What about Crispin? What about Crispin?
Crispin. Who's Crispin?
I'm just saying, man.
Was bad.
Crispin spelled Crispen. I mean, why is Crispin why did we create Crispin and we get banned from playing? I don't get it.
That don't make no sense to you. But either way, I feel like there's not a whole lot you can do better on these games because these games overall they're just fun, man. They're just plain out fun, dude. There's not a whole lot I would do different. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick it up when it comes out.
So do you think, Dabi, do you think that, and I've been wondering this a while, Ben and I have been talking about it, but do you think we're going to be getting any type of wrestling fatigue with an update every year with virtually the same engine, same characters, maybe graphics? Do you think we're going to end up getting burned out?
Madden curse.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. The comparison is Madden. You know, like every year it's basically the same controls, just different rosters, and you just update rosters. You know, so I could definitely see that there has to be some sort of significant change. You know, like I said, maybe the Royal Rumble online this year would be pretty great. But yeah, I mean, I can see if it's really just an upgrading rosters, then it's not that's not very exciting. You know.
Well, what if they did Madden and WWE and kind of, well, I shouldn't say WWE. I should say the 2K franchise because you have NBA 2K and all that stuff, which I'm a huge fan of. What if you did sports-related games, including WWE, every 2 years?
That, to me, is a better idea. But it's too much of a money grab to do every year because they know a lot of people are going to buy it every year, even if they are somewhat disappointed. Like I said, I haven't been impressed with the Madden in God knows how long, probably 3-4 years, but I still buy it every year. And they know people are going to buy it, so even if they're putting up pretty much the same product as last year, they know it's going to leave the shelves. So it'd be stupid for them not to do it.
So for me, there's two things I would love to see. One, I would love for them to incorporate the hardcore title. I think the concept of it is just flipping amazing, being able to, at any moment, lose your title. Backscene segments and things of that nature, but probably more than anything, I want to see war games. I want to see a 3-sided ring. We have WCW in the card. I mean, in the library, we own.
Oh yeah.
We own the 3 rings. Why not have it in the game? It makes no sense whatsoever. I've been calling for war games forever.
That is a fantastic idea, yeah.
I agree.
Even speaking on that, to have the war games, I guess a little step further to where WWE is heading, obviously, is in this game. I don't know if it'll come automatically, maybe some sort of DLC or something, but like I would love to see these cruiserweights, the cruiserweights in this game. I think that'll add another aspect of brand new fighters, new badass cruiserweight moves. People we don't know, just gonna get to know both watching on SmackDown and Raw and playing in the game. Like. I think that would be a great way to push the cruiserweights to have them in this new game, whether it's up front or maybe some sort of DLC coming out later. But having cruiserweights in this game, I think, would be fantastic.
Well, speaking of cruiserweights, and I think that's a topic we could probably promote to a future podcast because obviously we're going to be reviewing the cruiserweight tournament coming up on the network. But I think that's a good idea. I think that just something different, right? I think just like any other sports game, a wrestling game is a wrestling game is a wrestling game. All it is, like you said, is just a roster update. So, and nowadays you can download rosters and download, user-created, Seth Rollins content or whatever it is, or you could change Seth Rollins' finisher from the curb stomp to the pedigree. So,
or the pedigree to the curb stomp.
Yeah. Get that pedigree out of here, man. It might hurt his knee, bro. It might hurt his knee. Give me that curb stomp.
That's it. That American Me. I love it. I saw that.
Yeah. American History X put a complete damper. I don't think Vince McMahon or any of those guys saw American History X, and then one day on a plane they were watching it and saw, oh, wait a minute. Whoa.
That's going down smooth, ain't it, Dabi?
He did it to like R-Truth one day, and they're like, "Wait, I've seen this before." Hey, you gotta cut that out, bro. You gotta cut that out. We can't be doing this.
And even better,
I used to roll with Tupac.
Yeah. And then they cut to Edward Norton in the crowd, just clapping and cheering, right?
Edward Norton was like this.
Yeah, man. Dude, everyone
Yeah,
was jacked in that movie too, by the way.
Yeah.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. So, got to ask you guys, and I'll let you chime off on your opinion because I'm curious. So we have the draft coming up, 2 weeks, give or take. It's a big wrestling week, so I think that week Sunday is Battleground, Monday is Raw, Tuesday is the live SmackDown on the USA Network. That will have the draft. Wednesday on NXT, I believe, and Sage, you have to officially confirm this, is Nakamura versus Finn Balor on NXT.
Strong style, bro. Strong style.
Yeah. Strong
That's
style.
for just the crazy fact that they're giving that away for free. And then I think Thursday, the cruiserweight first round of the cruiserweight tournament starts. Is all that information 100% correct?
That is correct. So Nakamura, 13th. Previous day, Tuesday, the 12th, is SmackDown. Raw on Monday, and then Sunday, Battleground. And the Cruiserweight Classic hasn't been confirmed for the week. However, we know that it's coming either that week or the following week. At least the first round.
Okay. So SmackDown's going to start, and we're 2 weeks away, but we don't even know who the GM is. So our special guest, the man of the hour, Dabi Amore, I got to ask you, in a perfect world, who is the GM of SmackDown? Who do you want to see as the GM of SmackDown and the GM of Raw? Why? Mike is yours. That boy got talent.
Man, dude, I mean, it's such a loaded question because, I mean, I feel like the obvious answer is we know SmackDown doesn't get as much pop, as Raw, because I personally don't watch SmackDown all the time. I watch Raw every Monday, but not SmackDown. Yeah, exactly, dude. It's got to be Shane. You got to move Shane because Shane gets such a huge pop in that management position. Like, you got to move him to SmackDown because that'll give a good pop, and that'll make me personally, who doesn't really watch SmackDown, want to watch a little more because Shane McMahon's running it, and I just love seeing Shane McMahon out there. I do Jordans every week. He gets a big pop. He makes the matches people want to see. He's exciting. So I think it's got to be Shane McMahon on SmackDown. And then if you're gonna go that route, then just to have that contrast and that conflict, you're probably gonna go, like they'll probably maybe say like Triple H or something on Raw as a GM or Stephanie, something like that. But I think the obvious answer for me feels like the best answer for business would be Shane over SmackDown. I think that'll get a lot of people to move to watch it more.
So Dabi, let me ask you just a question, just plain devil's advocate. So we currently have Steph and Shane as general managers of Raw right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Shane actually will be a big enough draw to draw people to a live SmackDown going forward? Like, do you think he's big enough to sustain that momentum for, let's say, a year or 2 years from now?
I mean, it's a good question. I don't know if he is big enough, but he's their best shot at it. I mean, going to a live SmackDown is a pretty big move, and I can see why they're doing it. But I mean, if it's gonna be somebody, it's got to be Shane McMahon to try to carry him over that hump and through that live action. Because I mean, if you go Shane, if you go Stephanie over there or John Laurinaitis, some crap like that, like nobody cares about that. That's not gonna put him over there. Nobody's gonna watch that. So I don't know if he can. It's definitely going to sway my vote, and I'm probably going to start watching SmackDown. But if it's going to be anybody that can do it, it's got to be Shane O'Mac.
Fair point. What about you, Goosen?
So I thought at first the same thing. So I thought Triple H should somehow come back or something, but he's kind of been called the father of NXT, obviously, right? So I thought if I wanted to choose one person who could truly run SmackDown, because Raw, I mean, you could always throw Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon. You could always throw just some insert random McMahon out there. So I truly thought, you know what, SmackDown, you got to think outside of the box, and that's why I'm going with Kevin Bacon. The original actor.
Now, is that Footloose Kevin Bacon or is that Hollywood Kevin Bacon?
Footloose, Footloose, kick off your Sunday shoes.
Or
No.
is that X-Men Kevin Bacon?
No, it's Footloose Kevin. Or no, it's Hollow Man Kevin Bacon. But when he comes out, he still thinks he's Hollow Man, so he's butt ass naked when he comes out, and he comes out on the ramp completely nude, thinking, "I got these guys. They're not going to know where this GM with a mic is talking from."
And can I just point out, my girl Elizabeth Shue was fine as hell in that movie too. God damn.
Yeah, she was. She looked great. Yeah, she looked great. No, but I think, man, I would love to not have Shane and Stephanie, because it seems like the obvious bet. Yeah. It's like a movie when you see something too obvious, and you have to come out. You have to hit people with the unobvious. So, like, you've seen Jaws. Quinn dying in the end was something I didn't see coming.
No.
And he's the toughest guy on that boat, but he goes out in this blood curdling yell. Like it just.
I still cannot watch that scene to this day, man. It's tough.
It's sad, and you watch him die. Like there is no he got eaten by a shark, and then he's dead. It's like you see, oh, all right, there's a couple feet. No, now his legs are in the mouth, up to the knees.
You see the fear in his eyes, the blood spitting out of his mouth, the screaming, like, dude, it's a great scene, man.
So if I was gonna go, I would go with. So SmackDown, I already know who I want. So, but for Raw, and this one's kind of tough.
So are we in agreement that SmackDown Shane?
No, not at all. My SmackDown one is somebody I'll announce in a sec. Raw. I don't know if this has been done. I'd love to get your thoughts, but I'm thinking bring back old Eric Bischoff. And I say that because he's a Monday night guy. He knows how to get on people's nerves. And he could play the bad guy on Raw or whatever. And then on SmackDown, you have Paul Heyman. Because...
You know what? That was my sleeper pick. I was like, you know what? Paul Heyman. But, I mean, does that mean Brock Lesnar is going to fade out? Because you can't have Brock Lesnar without Heyman, because Heyman, you know, not makes Brock Lesnar, but he definitely puts him over the top. Because we don't want to see Brock on that mic, you know?
No, not at all. But that's my thing is, right now... And we'll get into this in a little bit. With Brock going back to the UFC, Brock does not need Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece. Brock could come out, and regardless of the outcome of his upcoming UFC 200 and other appearance fights, he could come out, he could beat somebody up, and that's the end of it. Because, let's face it, at this point, everybody knows he has limited appearances. So he may beat somebody up today, and then you know, oh, man, that was awesome. I'm not going to see him for about 2-3 weeks. So if you have Brock on Raw, which to me, naturally, he's going to be, and if you want to get my thoughts on that, you can go watch our other podcast where we did a mock draft. But if you...
Nice plug.
Yeah, that was a good plug. So Brock is going to be on Raw, and it makes sense because he's a major dude. But he doesn't need a mouthpiece to get his fights over. So you could lose Heyman, have Heyman run SmackDown, and we could admit, like, if Heyman needed to hype up, you know, a Roman Reigns versus a Del Rio match, he could hype it up like no business. He could play the heel, he could play the face. So my picks are it was definitely Paul Heyman for SmackDown.
I had two sleeper picks that I want to just briefly say. I know Heyman was one of them, like, because I would said Shane's going to be SmackDown. I feel like there's got to be some kind of a heel for Raw. And I was like, heel, Heyman would be pretty tight. But my other sleeper pick was a face. So what do you think about this? I was thinking, I feel like they're going to try to find a nice role, obviously outside of the ring, for Daniel Bryan.
Son of a bitch.
I could
you saw my note sheet.
Because, what? No, come on, man. No, I'd say Daniel Bryan. They're gonna find a place for him. Obviously, he can't wrestle no more because his neck's broke. But I mean, I could see them doing something like that where he's like a GM. He's a huge face. People love him. Gets a great pop. Putting him as a GM, I think it would be a good move too.
But
then who's the heel though? Who's the heel on the other side though?
Yeah. So you have to have a heel face. But the thing is if Daniel Bryan comes out and makes matches, all it means to me is it's somebody who comes out every week. You hear his song. Oh yeah. You.
Tell me when to stop.
Damn, it looks good.
Stop. We're gonna have to play.
Try this at home.
We're gonna have to play a podcast drinking game. So A, we just got sued. We got sued for 10 grand because you showed the logo of that drink. And B, every time
because you said the word mage.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
By the way, I can't stand when you shorten your words like that because it's exactly what Peter Rosenberg does, and he's trash.
Yeah.
For the record, I love Peter Rosenberg, so don't sue me.
Yeah. Shout out to Cheap Heat. That's what made me get into the podcast business.
Because Cheap Heat is mage. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he abbreviates the hell out of his words. Half the time I don't know what he's talking about.
It's cool if you're like, I guess like a millennial type, but when you're pushing 40 and you're like, yeah, man, WWE is still mage. Like, come on, bro. You're too old to be saying that kind of word.
Yeah, my daughter came up to me last week and said, yeah, this thing is delish. I said, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, she can say that, though.
Yeah, if you're kids, you can say that stuff.
Because your daughter's 18, I'm looking pretty damn good. Try to call me.
Yeah, my daughter's also 4 years younger than I am, so it works out great. Sage, who are your picks?
Man,
I'm gonna say Dabi stole your thunder, brah.
Yeah, nah. Oh, DB would definitely be a good pick for Raw, not for SmackDown. So for Raw, so reports are saying that the brands are trying to be independent of each other's. So kind of thinking things like a Raw and a SmackDown, or not a Raw and SmackDown, but a Raw and like Nitro were back in the days. So if they truly go that route and it's not intermingled at all, no invasions, none of those types of storylines, I don't necessarily think you have to have a face on one and a heel on the other, because they're not really dependent on each other. So with that being said, I think that both Stephanie and Triple H are going to take a backseat role to on-air personalities. I think they'll only come out during special events, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, maybe Survivor Series, maybe. I don't know. So with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if they call up Steven Regal from NXT to manage Raw. I know it seems kind of weird, but I mean, Raw's going to get the ratings, period, just because it's been around for so long. So you don't really need a strong personality, on-screen personality for general manager. Heck, you probably don't even really need one at all. You going to SeaWorld? Okay.
Think back to SeaWorld.
High five, baby. High five. Okay, Uter boxes. Is that going to cost me like $500? I can pay for those shots. Oh, I can't say that word. All right, so ain't trying to get sued. Those plastic painted toys. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Edit. All right, so yeah, William Regal will be my Raw pick. For SmackDown, I'm gonna have to go with Kane.
No, Glenn Jacobs.
No, dude,
Nails.
And our next match.
Yeah. I want him to start off Raw, or I want him to start off every SmackDown or Raw like that. He cuts a 20-minute promo and says 10 things like, yeah.
All right, so check it out, Dabi. SmackDown is going to be the new Raw. It is going to be the equivalent, in my opinion, to how Nitro was back in the day. We're talking about first hour, and this is assuming that it's going to be 3 hours. I don't remember if it's going to be 2 or 3, but let's just assume that it's going to be a 3-hour show. First hour, we're going to get a mixture of cruiserweights and women's division. Second hour, we're going to get pure middle class or intercontinental U.S. title type of matches. And then the last hour, we're going to get heavyweight matches. So, who better to manage something like that than someone who's actually experienced a Nitro-style format, a pure wrestling format? Then the icon they call Sting.
Wow.
That's a good one.
No, you
That's a good one.
That's
He's
exactly
still-
what I was thinking. After you said the whole Nitro thing, I was like, what about Sting?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
he's
fantastic.
still under contract. Who, other than DB, they're going to use him in some form of capacity. It seems like they're trying to go the whole commentary route, maybe on Raw, which would be pretty good, I think. But other than DB or taking DB out of the picture and assuming maybe Paul Heyman maybe goes to Raw, who is a bigger draw and has the experience than Sting? We still want to see Sting, regardless of whether he wrestles or not. We still want to see him.
I could see that.
Now, if he comes in as Steve or if he comes in as Sting, I mean, that's a whole separate thing. But I think you can do a lot with a guy.
You can't go
like
Steve.
Yeah. I don't want to call somebody
Steve.
Steve.
Okay,
Hey,
but
Steve.
Yeah, I'm
And
just
does
saying.
he keep the face paint?
No.
No face paint.
No.
All right. So that brings me to my next question. So with the brands splitting, do they create a new belt for SmackDown? Because it's going to look kind of bad with Raw having the champion. Say Rollins or Ambrose, whoever the champion is at the time, Ambrose goes to Raw, then SmackDown has no main title. Like you can't have that, right?
All right. Dabi, in your perfect world, how would you? Or I'll explain how I would do it. So, in a perfect world, I would have. You have two separate shows. I would have a main eventer, and my perfect world's better than whatever your opinions are, because it's a perfect world. So it's, of course, I would have one heavyweight champion, just like Ambrose is now, and he floats between back and forth each shows. And every other pay-per-view, it's a SmackDown Championship title shot or a Raw Championship title shot. So if somebody's not getting a title shot, you know that they're fighting for that number one contendership.
Mm-hmm.
I would have one set of tag champs, and they same principle. Now on Raw, since it's 3 hours, I would have the women's division exclusive to Raw. I would and the U.S. title, because obviously the U.S. title will be on one show and the IC on the other.
Mm-hmm.
And on SmackDown, I would have the cruiserweight title. I'd
That's
bring that
huge.
back
That's huge.
and have that exclusive to SmackDown, because you have to have, to me, you've got to have something exclusive to each show that truly makes me want to watch one show or another. So that's my thoughts. What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same mindset. I think they'll yes, maybe have the women's title on Raw, but still, I mean, they would still have women matches on SmackDown, though, correct?
No, not at all. Women are
No,
exclusive
not at
to Raw.
I don't think they'll go that route because they're really trying to push women more, and I think just having them strictly on the one side is not what they're gonna go for. I think it'll be still women on both, but I do like the idea of having SmackDown strictly having the cruiserweights. So it's damn, that's huge because I think a lot of people are gonna be excited about this division. WCW didn't do a whole lot well, but the one thing they did do great was having that cruiserweight division. Man, the battles, dude. Dean Malenko,
in the first hour.
Guerrero.
Yeah.
And when you start off with that, dude, and if you just get a couple of guys with mic skills, oh my god, it's gold, man. It's gold. Like I said,
it'll run itself.
Yeah, that was the best thing that ever happened, but they didn't push it enough. They just wanted to push NWO, and that's what caused their downfall, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of just like, you want to watch cruiserweights, you got to tune in to SmackDown Live on Tuesdays or whatever the night is. You know,
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love it.
Sage?
Yeah. I'm not a fan with splitting all the belts. I think, or creating new belts for every division. I think that's. I don't like it at all. I think the WWE heavyweight title has now been rebranded to the WWE title, so we can pretty much say that it's safe to say that SmackDown and Raw are going to have two separate top belts. So perfectly fine. U.S. heavyweight belt should be on Raw. We need to bring back the U.S. title. I mean, sorry, the TV title on SmackDown. A title, and when I say TV title, I am talking exactly how it was meant to be. It is defended on every single SmackDown taping, every single one of them. The women's division, we can pretty much speculate that the women from NXT are going to get called up to the roster. So I think you have enough talent between the ones that are sitting there that are ready to go. So like, what do we have? Bailey. You know, Bailey's ready to go. Kana or Asuka, she's ready to go. Alexa Bliss, she's definitely ready to go. Cass's girl. Oh my God. Cass's girl is ready to go. So between those girls there, that's 4, plus the ones that you currently have active on television, plus Paige, plus Summer Rae. When Emma comes back, you have enough women to be on both shows.
Wait. By the way,
let me ask you this, though. Are we
Paige is dating Del Rio, right? We all know that, right?
Yes, correct.
And you know where Del Rio lives, right?
No, where's he live?
San Antonio, man.
What?
Yeah. So I saw Paige at HEB the other day. And for those listening, HEB is a local grocery store. And Sage.
Oh, bro, come on.
She told me she likes you. And I said,
she
hey.
Said that?
She said, hey, do you know Sage? And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, you know Sage. And I was like, oh, I don't know. What do you mean? Do you want to go talk about this?
If you
like over some coffee or something?
My girl, bro. We have a problem.
It's going down in my DMs. Like,
here you go,
at Sage the Mark on Twitter.
And she asked me, she said, hey, is his last name The Mark? And I said, well, yeah, that's my friend.
Yo, but getting back on topic, though, do you ever think, like, we'll ever get to a point, or are we at the point? Because I feel like this women's division is probably the deepest it's ever been. Could we get to a point where maybe there's, like, a women's tag team titles, you know, or maybe a women's sort of like version of the Intercontinental title? Maybe we have one of this new belt on SmackDown that's never been done before, like women's tag team titles or something like that on SmackDown exclusively, and then we have the women's, you know, like championship on Raw. Because I feel like it's so deep, we could have, you know, 3, 4, 5 pretty good tag teams and create the new belt.
I guess that would be a way to go. Yeah, TNA did that when I was watching it like 7 or 8 years ago when they had Sarita and what's her name? I think it was Alicia Flash. I could be mistaken.
Vivica Fox.
It was great. The problem was that for them they didn't have enough strong women to compete against. Most of them that they were competing against were women that were really big in Japan and in Mexico, and we're just now starting to get that type of talent for the women's division here, you know, on the product. So I think right now the concept is noble, and I think that eventually we'll get to a point where we can do that, but I don't think we're at that stage where we can do a tag team title. I think it would be.
Doesn't it feel like the women's division is the deepest it's ever been? So I feel like if it was going to happen where they create another title, whether it be like their version of an Intercontinental title or U.S. title, TV title, or even a tag team division, like I feel like now is the time because there's so many good wrestlers that are there on the roster, and like you said, coming up from NXT. Like, there's just so much talent there.
And there is, man, but you have to remember one of the biggest downfalls for SmackDown under Teddy Long's reign, and it's kind of a budding joke. Everything was a tag team match, and with a division that is as hot as it is right now, you don't want to water it down with a tag match or consistent tag matches in that particular division where the girls are already limited in scope of on-air screen time. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I don't think that it's. I don't think that we won't come to, and that's a double negative. We will come to a point where it will be a viable option. I just think coming out of the gate right now, it's too new of a concept for the casual audience.
Goose?
No, I think it's a good point. I think that it's as stacked as it's going to get, but I think saturation-wise, it could be watered down quickly. I'm actually more of a fan of seeing women's wrestling fighting for the title, but it's almost like what they're doing now on Raw. So I like that you have somebody built up to the number one contender, and some feuds like Becky Lynch and Natalya that have nothing to do with the title at all.
Which WWE needs to stop editing that crap from Hulu Plus, because we do want to see the women fight other than the title.
Or you can pay for some real cable.
Man, nobody got time for that, man. How about they start lowering that down below what I pay for internet?
No, they don't need to filter it because I want to see Big Cass and Enzo talk about eating Sonic hot dogs, and there's some taters. There's some taters. And a hamburger at Sonic is much more important to me. No, I'm kidding. Speaking of important, I do want to get to something.
Which is cut from Hulu. Just saying.
Well, that was cut too.
Yeah,
well,
that was cut too, man.
No need.
Let's go get lunch at Sonic tomorrow. We can get some taters, a hot dog, a burger, a drink. I want to say there was like some ice cream in there or something thrown in there for.
Yo, them jalapeno poppers ain't no joke, bro.
Yeah, Sonic's pretty legit.
Yeah. Shout out to that ocean water on the easy ice.
One thing I want to get into real quick, and we'll go kind of round table here, is we have an event coming up this weekend. It's my niece's quinceañera coming up on Saturday night. So no, I'm kidding. It's UFC 200 on Saturday.
I'm Saturday night.
Yeah, she's turned 15. She's a woman. Trust me. So we're gonna get into UFC 200 predictions.
Edit.
So and this card is stacked. Obviously, it was almost to me like once McGregor Diaz was not happening, Dana White was like, all right, cool, I'm going to stack the card twice as big as it could have been. So I want to get kind of you guys' thoughts on who's going to win and why, of course. So, and we'll just go main card because this card is absolutely stacked. I mean, just in the prelims alone, Sage the Mark Northcutt is fighting on the prelim. Dabi, how old is Sage Northcutt? He's 21. Is he even 21 yet?
Dude, yeah, I don't think he can buy liquor yet, dude. I'm telling you, he can't buy.
Yeah, so this guy's a phenom in the UFC. He's not 21. He was supposed to be a phenom, but he lost his last fight on decision. I think he came in a bit cocky, which that's what you do when you're in your younger age. Lost his last fight by decision, but Sage Northcutt
boy.
Fighting on the undercard, TJ Dillashaw, which you guys remember is.
I thought we were still in the main card.
That is the undercard.
TJ Dillashaw boy. Johnny Hendricks undercard. Kat Zingano undercard. Joe Daddy Lozon. Gegard Mousasi. Takanori Gomi. So that's where we're going to keep it. Just like I'm going to be watching UFC from pretty much 5 to midnight. So Cain Velasquez and Travis Browne. Obviously, to me, and this to me is a no-brainer. I think that the winner of this fight will be the number one contender and fight the winner of Overeem and Miocic coming up. I think it's at 203 if I remember right. But Velasquez, Travis Browne. Sage, who do you got and why?
All right, so full disclosure, guys, I am not as versed as everybody else is when it comes to UFC.
That's the best part, though. You know a
Yeah,
knockout when a knockout happens.
this is true. This is true. So I know that the loser will be the one that's on the mat because this is definitely going to be a flipping knockout type of match.
Yep.
I'm gonna take Kane, man. Like the dude's just a monster. And I think he's got a little bit of extra motivation now that that Brock is in the hunt. Maybe not officially in the hunt, but
So the plan works because he's fighting Mark Hunt?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
that
try.
was definitely a play on. Yeah.
So I think that this is a must-win fight for him because if Brock wins his match, I can foresee them trying to put Brock in a title fight before Kane, and with that telestigovitis or whatever it's called.
Good point.
I think I don't know, whatever that thing that Brock had.
The diverticulitis?
Yeah, that. I think he would have something to prove to himself in beating Brock again.
Dabi, what do you think? Dabi Amore, what do you think?
You know, first of all, just saying, when you get like former champs like TJ Dillashaw, Johnny Hendricks, like on not even the main card, like that just shows you how stacked this card is. And furthermore, like when I heard about this card about 2 months ago, I was like, you know what? Yeah, it sounds great, but we're gonna have probably 3-4 injuries between now and then. That's gonna cause this card to just tank. And here we are, 3 days out and no injuries. So this is a fantastic card, top to bottom. So going with the first fight, Velasquez Brown, just amazing. Should be a headliner, right? I'm a little nervous because Kane coming off that bad performance in Mexico City, losing his title to Verdum, like he looked bad that fight, But Kane's the kind of guy who doesn't drop too straight. He's going to come back strong. I think knowing that Brown is, 6'6", 6'7", and that reach advantage, I think Kane's going to make it an ugly fight. Keep Brown against the cage, make it dirty boxing. And honestly, I know it sucks to say, but I think he's going to grind him out against the cage for 3 rounds. And I think it goes 3 rounds to 0, Cain Velasquez. Decision.
Hey. So I've got it the same way. I think that Kane comes out with something to prove. I honestly think that loss to Verdum was, in my opinion, I hate to use the term fluke. I mean, he lost the fight. He was in Mexico. He came out trying to go, super Mexican pride, coming off of a long layoff due to injuries, fighting in a terrible altitude. I think he came out wanting to finish the fight in the first minute. It didn't happen. He got popped a bit by, a new and improved Verdum at that time. And but I definitely have him beating Travis Brown. It's tough to knock out Travis Brown. He's not. I mean, if you remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but Overeem, who's fighting for a championship, he had Travis Brown rocked, but he couldn't finish him, and Overeem lost with a front kick.
Yeah, and then Brown finished over him, correct?
Yeah, yep. So Brown has a lot of heart. It's tough to finish the guy, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Velasquez just kind of, like you said, grind him out, grind out the win.
He's going to make it an ugly fight, I know it.
And that takes us into how this is not the co-main event is beyond me, but Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar.
Oh my God!
Dave, what do you think?
How the hell is this? I guess they don't call it a super card for nothing, man. But this should be definitely higher up on the roster or on the card. When you put anybody against Conor McGregor, it's just tough. Period. I don't care what Nick Diaz says or anything like that. Jose Aldo got beat in December by Conor McGregor, but before then, I think it was the last 14 or 15 fights he all won, including one Frankie Edgar back in 2013. This dude has just been consistent. He just gets better and better and better. I have him winning by TKO. I just 2 rounds maybe, but yeah, this dude is just getting better. He's young. He's getting better. Let's let's go. Let's make it happen.
Dabi?
Yo, man, I could not. I cannot disagree more, man. Like I am, and Gusta knows. He knows that I am the biggest Brazilian fighter fan. I'm the biggest Jose Aldo fan. But the thing about it is, you said it right. Jose Aldo hadn't lost in about 8 years, 8, 9 years. He hadn't lost, and now he lost not only by like it wasn't a decision. It was like a 15-second knockout. I think he comes out a little rocked, a little scared, like I can't go in anymore because I'm afraid to get knocked again. And I think, and Edgar, nobody puts away Edgar. Edgar is tough as nails. I think it goes all 3 rounds, and it's gonna be 5 because it's an interim title fight. So it's gonna go 5 rounds, and I think because Aldo is so gun shy from the last fight where he came in hot and got knocked out, that I think Edgar's output is just gonna be too much for the judges, and they're going to just score the fight 4 rounds to 1, Edgar. And I think Edgar comes out with the decision.
So it's easy to think that, but their last fight went to decision and Aldo won. So
yeah, but Aldo wasn't coming off a knockout loss.
True. So I think that, man, it's tough. I think it's going to go to decision. And any time a fight goes to decision, normally he has the Ben Henderson loss and a couple of losses under there that did go to decision. Man, I honestly think that we're going to see the Jose Aldo that comes out with the leg kicks to try to slow down the unlimited cardio and the amazing boxing of, and Frankie Edgar's arguably the best boxer in MMA. I think he's going to throw a lot of leg kicks. And that's the thing, to your point, Dabi, is you throw those leg kicks, and those leg kicks slow somebody down, that helps with the gun shy. That helps with the, oh, man, I don't want to get touched in the face because I might get knocked out. My chin isn't what it used to be. So if there's some leg kicks, slow somebody down, they don't have any power anymore in their hands because now they have to throw with the upper half of their body rather than planting their feet and setting a right hook or something crazy. I've got Aldo in 5 rounds, and then the obvious Conor McGregor call out, and then after that, we go into the Miesha Tate. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Miesha Tate and Amanda Nunes. So who's gonna win? And is this Miesha Tate thing? Is it a fluke?
Oh man! First off, I love me. I love me some Miesha Tate. I feel terrible because I didn't even know that she beat Holly Holm.
Huge upset.
Yeah, I did not even know that she.
And she was losing that fight to the last round, by the way. She was losing that fight.
She won 2 out of 5 rounds for sure. Just that 5th round she won. She that was lights out. Literally.
Yeah, I've always admired her fighting spirit. She respects the game. She's constantly learning. I love Miesha Tate, but to be honest with you, I'm scared of Amanda Nunes. Like, this woman can go. She is probably, to me, the second coming of Ronda Rousey. And if Ronda does decide to come before WrestleMania, which I still believe that she's going to have some type of an event there, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be Amanda Nunes versus Ronda Rousey for her rematch at or before WrestleMania. I have her winning. I love you, Miesha, so don't hate on my Twitter, but I got you going, girl, in the first round. Amanda Nunes, first round.
Dabi, what do you say?
Miesha is just too seasoned, too amazing. Like you just see like the unbeatable Ronda Rousey and how she just like stood in front of Holm and just got tagged up with those straight lefts, got kicked in the face, she was out. Miesha was way too smart for that. And though she wasn't winning the round, she still knew, like, you know what, I got this in my back pocket. I can just take her down when I really need to, and I can choke her out, and she did that, So I think Miesha Tate's just too seasoned, too good at what she does. I think Nunes is a little bit too young and hasn't fought the caliber of fighter that Tate has, and I think that's gonna be the difference. And I think Tate, when it goes to the championship rounds where Nunes has never been, I think that's when Tate takes over, and I think Tate will end up submitting her in the later rounds.
So I agree. Nunes is a great fighter, great fighter. But I think that Misha's out now, and you have to remember she's out now with coming off losses to Rousey and almost losing to Holm, 2 losses to Rousey. I think that she's out there with something to prove, and you don't often see champions, almost in any sport. You don't see champions going out there with something to prove, especially in the UFC. Champions typically get cocky. They start and boxing too. The weight training, the regimen, and Chris Weidman even said that when he lost to Luke Rockhold, that his training regimen and everything kind of went to crap. But you don't see hungry champions, if you will. And I think Miesha Tate is out there with something to prove. I think that if she can get She's a mixed martial artist. The women who dominate, from Cyborg to Holm to Rousey, dominate first with the stand-up, in Rousey's case with the judo into the armbar, but they dominate in the stand-up part. They use the stand-up to set something else up or just go with the stand-up. So I do have Holly Holm. Unfortunately, I do think it's going to be a pretty boring fight, and I think that she wins it in... I'd probably say if it goes past 3 rounds, it'll be a very boring Miesha Tate takedown round 4 and 5, and just an easy grind-out decision. And that brings us to the co-main event. The co-main event of Abu Dhabi Dabi Amore versus Sage the Mark in the
catch weight.
Yeah. At a catch weight of 240 pounds for 17 tacos and no, I'm kidding. But it brings us to Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt. And I don't know if you guys saw the press conference that the cheap presser. And if you remember a couple years ago, last time DC and Jon Jones fought. I think it was January of 2015. At the presser, that's where, and this was before the Reebok deal. That's where Jon Jones threw, I think it was a left hook at Cormier. They got in a little scuffle at the MGM Grand, and Jon Jones lost his Nike deal because of it. So it was that same type of thing, same type of event today.
Well, I'm sure that hit and run didn't help matters either. So
no. Yeah, he gets into some trouble. So I saw today Brock Lesnar towers over Mark Hunt. So we'll start with Sage. Sage, who do you got, Brock or Mark Hunt?
Yeah, I kind of wish we would have saved this one for last, to be honest with you.
This does feel like the main event, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, to be honest with you, this is the main event.
So much uncertainty around this fight.
Yeah, this is definitely the main event. And I wouldn't be surprised if they switched the card just at the very end. Mark Hunt, everybody knows that this dude he's a beast. Everyone that he steps in the ring with, he either knocks them out or seriously injures them, and that scares the hell out of me. I know I think is he the favorite to win this fight, Ben?
Yeah, he is. I think right now he's slightly favored.
Okay.
Yeah, he's favored. No, he's favored. He's favored.
He's favored to win. Yeah. I've got to think that Brock has a lot more going for him. I'm trying not to say this from a Mark perspective, but I think that, and he's training a little bit harder than he normally does. He's kind of just zeroing out everything to be focused. He's got something to prove. Yeah. For this, yeah, he's got the most to prove and the most to benefit from this win, both in the UFC and both in the WWE. Can you imagine? And this is me marking out, guys. Can you imagine this guy walking into the WWE at SummerSlam with the UFC title? and then them putting the belt on him in December for WrestleMania with both belts. Never been done before. Would be flipping amazing to see happen. I am.
Yeah, to have a dual champion, it would be
I
cool.
Yeah,
honestly think
I'm
Dana
going.
White would allow Brock to take that UFC belt to WWE. I don't think that would happen.
Yo, I'm just saying Dana could give two, in my opinion, he'd give two craps about what happens because of the whole merger or the selling of the company to the other, whoever the other people are. It's no longer his company, so why would he care? Brock does whatever he wants to do. He doesn't. Let's
He's
make no
his own
mistake.
company.
Dual athlete.
Brock's
No,
his
no,
own
it's a
company.
Brock doesn't need the
dual athlete.
UFC. Brock does not need the UFC.
No, he doesn't. He does not.
No,
Yeah,
The
you're right.
UFC needs Brock. They're in the same exact boat as the WWE is, and I don't care what any of the heads have to say about it. They need him more than anything else. Brock needs to win this fight. He just simply as that. He needs to win this fight. He's going to win by decision, and that's. I'm hoping it's more, knocking out. It'd be more credible, but it's going to win by decision.
You know what? I think. I mean, Brock hasn't fought in what 3-4 years. And Hunt's been fighting pretty regularly against top competition. And I think what Brock is.
Just one fight away from a title shot, Mark Hunt.
Yeah, exactly. I think what Brock is like. I mean, nobody likes to get hit, but Brock really, really doesn't like to get hit. You know, so I think he's terrified of Hunt because Hunt will no doubt have the heaviest hands of any fighter he's ever fought before in his life, and he knows that. So I think it's going to be as soon as that bell rings, Brock is going straight for that takedown because Brock wants nothing to do with that stand-up. And there's no way Hunt can stop Brock's takedowns because Brock is a legit collegiate wrestler, just an amazing athlete overall. So I think Brock doesn't want anything to do with the stand-up. I think he takes him down and either grinds him out or we've seen him submit. Shane Carwin on the ground and pound out Frank Mir on the ground. So I think Brock will end up finishing Hunt on the ground either by a arm triangle, or just pound him out. But either way, it's not going to be a stand-up fight because Brock is terrified of Hunt's power and doesn't want to get knocked out. And so either way, Brock's coming out on top, inside the distance.
So I'm going to go ahead, and initially I thought Mark Hunt's the king of the walk-off homers, by the way. The walk-off knockouts.
Yeah, he is.
Chunk the bat, I'm done, walking off.
Yep. Initially I thought Brock is going to be he's just going to be, because he hates getting tagged, he's going to be the victim of that next Mark Hunt walk-off. But after watching the press conference today and seeing just truly how big Brock is, just as a man, like he's got the height, the weight, the reach, and
the girth.
Yeah. Wait, what? So just the size that Brock has against him, and what people don't realize is Brock with his size, and how big his hands are, and remember he has custom gloves made for him. You forget that just a hand and a man that big is going to have knockout power no matter what. No matter what.
Yes, but you also have to have the technique and hand speed to land said punches, and Brock doesn't have that.
Correct. But if you just land one or two just straight jabs, he did it against Couture. Heath Herring, he dropped.
Heath Herring as well.
Frank Mir, he dropped. So if you just land something, you just have to connect. It's just he's not good enough to connect. So I thought Mark Hunt up front, but no, Dabi, I'll go with what you said, and I think I'm just going to see a Brock that, if he could close the distance and avoid, I'm not afraid of Mark Hunt's overhand right or anything like that, but the uppercut is what I'm afraid of, because if you go in for a takedown, you're susceptible to the uppercut, so I'm afraid of the uppercut.
Yep.
But I do have Brock winning, and it's noticeably 3 rounds, of course, and then in the heavyweight fight, and I'll be real curious to what you guys think here. And we're short on time here. So DC, Daniel Cormier versus Jon Jones. Light heavyweight, I'm sorry. In the main event, light heavyweight, for the unification of the title and the interim title, We have DC and Jon Jones. So we'll start with Sage. Sage, what do you think?
I'm not gonna get too deep into this one, man. I think that as a fighter, you have to have a clear conscience, and I think Jon Jones has too much stuff going off the court or outside the ring of the octagon to really fight this one straight through. I have Cormier knocking this fool out in like the second round.
Wow.
And honestly, I think this is what Jon Jones needs. I hate to like. I'm not advocating for the dude to get hurt or injured or anything like that. So don't take it as that. But I think that Jon Jones needs to be humble again, and you have to understand that respecting the sport isn't just inside of the ring. It's how you treat people, whether they're fighters and no fighters, outside the ring. You can't be going around acting like you're, treating people like you're the crap. Brock Lesnar is probably a good example. This dude we all know Brock. We know how he is. We know what he cares about. But the one thing that you won't ever hear Brock do is disrespect somebody publicly. Unless unless someone comes sideways at him.
Hype for a fight, yeah.
Yeah, he's not pulling, a cop's not pulling him over, and you don't hear stories about him, bad mouthing the cop. So I think Jon Jones needs to be humbled. Yeah, he needs to be humbled, and for no other reason than that, I have Cormier winning this. Hopefully, this will make Jon Jones a better fighter, both in ring and outside the ring. But as John Cena says, his time is up. Cormier's time is now. Second round knockout.
I like that tie-in.
Yeah, that was a good tie-in.
Let me tell you this though, I want to believe what you're saying, Sage, but I can't, man. I don't like Jon Jones personally. I think he's a piece of crap, But the bottom line is he's talented, he's gifted, he's an incredible martial artist, And I want to see Cormier knock him out, but we all saw that first fight, right? And what do we see? We saw just Cormier tentative, just almost just trying not to get finished during that fight. He didn't ever threaten Jones in any way, and I think it's going to be kind of the same thing, And like we were talking about earlier with the Brock fight, the Brock fight probably should be the headliner because we all saw that last Jones-Cormier fight, and it was underwhelming to say the least, So I think it's going to be kind of the same thing because Jones is just too long, too big, too athletic, just too good for Cormier to ever really get in there and do any real kind of damage. And even though I can't stand the man personally, I still feel like at the end of the day, he's going to get his hand raised again, get that belt wrapped around his waist again, and it's going to be up to somebody else, I don't know who, to take that strap away from him because I think Jones is walking with that belt.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And that's a great point. I actually think that after the first fight, Cormier is going to come in a bit more aggressive, and I think that he's going to come in and dirty box and close the distance. And I've never understood why in the first fight he didn't do to Jones what he did against the heavyweights in Strikeforce. So I think that the Gustafsson fight that Cormier had was a good measurement of how do I close the distance on Jon Jones? What do I need to do to just – because if Cormier gets inside, Jones is talented. He's got great judo throws and hip tosses and stuff. But I do definitely think the fight is going 5 rounds. I definitely think because both of those guys are just bringing everything they got into it. But no, I actually have DC winning in – I'd say DC winning in 5 – strictly with dirty boxing, getting inside, getting the clinch, and doing the Randy Couture kind of lean up against the cage.
No, his only hope, you're right, though, his only hope is to make it dirty.
Yeah, by far. So, did you guys have anything else you want to? Did you guys have anything else you want to bring up? Because we're kind of pushing here on time. We got to respect the viewers.
I would say
go ahead.
I'm a big fan of Juliana Pena, and she's got a big fight coming up on the UFC 200 card. I think it's on Spike. I think that's a fight worth watching. Also the Joe Lozon.
Cat Tingano, right?
What's up? Yeah, Cat Zingano.
Yep.
And then Joe Lozon versus Diego Sanchez. I think that's going to be arguably could be fight of the night, and that's not even on Spike. It's on like the Fight Pass, which is trash. But I think just those are two fights you got to watch. You got to look at them though. You got to look at those fights. So they're going to be amazing fights.
Nice, Sage. And anything left for the viewers before we head out and call it a day?
Two things. Brock needs to come out to his music. None of that crap that he had last time he was in the ring. That's probably the reason why he
Brock needs
lost.
to come out with Paul Heyman. That's what he needs to come
Yeah,
out with.
with that little strut.
Yeah, he does.
That's what I'm talking about.
I want to see Paul Heyman get in that cage, dude, and take that mic away from Bruce Buffer and say, no, I got this. My name is Paul Heyman. And just the whole WWE promo to call out Brock inside the octagon, man, that would be amazing, dude.
I agree. All right, then.
Real quick. I promise we'll wrap it up. And after this UFC fight on Saturday, I'm going to go home. I'm going to make me a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I'm going to take off the crust of the bread. I'm going to take one bite. I'm going to turn around. And I'm going to hashtag beat up John Cena.
Woo!
All right, fellas.
Well, homeboy.
Everybody watching will tune in, and we'll have another podcast coming up here in a couple weeks. Later.